Hello everyone, and welcome back to Jesse Heck Creative. Today we're going over Bowser and his minions, the Koopa Troopa, as well as Bowser Jr. Now let's get to it. So here are the Goombas, Bowser's loyal foot soldiers, the first enemies you'll probably meet in a Mario game, and probably the easiest. Just stomp on their heads, and that's it. Yep, that's it. So we're going to focus on one Goomba today. I got multiples because they're pretty cool when you have multiples of them. Little army builders, if you will. So, Sculpt. Ripped directly from the game. Looks really nice, looks great. A few seam lines here and there indicating it's an action figure, but as far as that, it's pretty good. You know, right here. It's also pretty hollow, so that's kind of a shame. But the rest of the figure is pretty solid. Yeah, nice solid stuff down here. The head's really hollow though, and that's kind of a shame to me. But moving on to the sculpt. Looks very nice, really good, ripped directly from the game. Not much to be said. I love these eyebrows so much. They go off the head a little bit, and it's very cartoony. Looks really nice in 3D form. Looks pretty cool. As far as the paint, it's a little lackluster. The eyes could be a little bit better on the edges, as well as the teeth. And that's basically it. It's a shame because there's only 2 points of paint on this guy, and they kind of fail on both accounts. Even worse on this one, I think. But the articulation, let's go over that. Goes all the way around. You can tell easily from face to back. It's pretty neat. There's a little sort of bending right here. And that goes around. That's kind of it. You get a swivel over here. It kind of goes up and down a little bit. A little more so on this one. But yeah, the more back you go, the more stability you have, I would think. You also can get a little walking animation in there if you want that to happen. The more you put it inwards a little bit, it doesn't really want to stand. But that's basically it, and there's your little Goomba. Overall, it's nice. I think it looks really good and very faithful to the game. It doesn't need to do much, but then again, it's just a plain old Goomba, which is the charm of it all. It's really cute. So yeah, Goombas are great. Moving on. Here's your Koopa and Troopa in the game. They're basically from the game, carbon copies as well at least, but a little bit more toyetic. On the back is the most interesting difference between them. We have one without wings, one with wings, the Troopa being with wings. As far as the wings go, they look really nice. I like the sculpt on them, and the detailing, it looks really nice. No paint or anything, but I just like how they put in some nice sculpted detail into that. They can go all the way around, they could flap up and down, they can go up and down like this. All the way around, it's a ball joint, so that's pretty neat. We're going to put this Koopa aside and take a look at this Koopa. So, it looks great as far as everything goes. Not really much paint to be painted. I mean, on the feet look really nice. I'm not sure if the bottoms are painted or if the tops are painted, but again, it looks really good. The shells are kind of difficult though. The paint can miss sometimes, at least on this side right over here. There is some issues with that. And the eyes can be kind of weird sometimes on this one. I swear there's a dot in them right in the corner. There's a little dot on the corner, which is kind of strange for that. But yeah, paint's okay. Sculpt is really good. Articulation's kind of strange though. The head moves around. It goes up and down. Kind of weird. It's kind of like an opposite of usually what a Marvel Legends or any other action figure would be. But it's pretty good for the figure. The arms are really obstructed by the shell. It's kind of weird like that. The joints are also kind of flimsy, I think. And it's kind of, you know, a bit weird. It isn't really the best kind of, you know, articulation for this figure. The hands can go around, the arms can go up and down. It's like your standard action figure joints, at least, with this kind of figure. The legs are really weird. They go back, they go forward. Not really that great. There's a swivel at the calf right down here. There's also a swivel at the boot. And I believe it goes up and down. Yeah, it goes up and down. Doesn't really pivot. It swivels around. No peg holes or anything, but there is, you know, writing back there. I don't think there's a code on there. There's a code on the foot. That's a shame. Yeah, it's a good figure, not a great figure. I like the Goomba better because it's a little more simple. There's just too much complex articulation in these guys for me. The Red Koopa and Red Troopa are the same things, except I think there's better paint on the back, honestly, for these two. It is a little sort of fringing a little bit, but it isn't missing huge chunks like the other. Oh, no, it is. Yeah. Oh, it's about the same, but I think these look better. I honestly thought that the red ones look better, the shoes look better, the paint on the eyes looks way better. It's a step up and an upgrade from the other ones. The articulation is the exact same molds and everything. I forgot to mention they have tails too, so that's a thing that's really cute. The eyes are painted way better on this, and I just think it's a better figure overall. And yeah, it's kind of it. Same mold, same everything, whatever. It's just Koopas. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. Here we come to the Hammer Brothers Bowser's Elite Force, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with in the games at least. The sculpt is really weird on these guys. It's basically the same as the game. They're a little bit tubby and sort of puffier than what I think of in the games. They're a little more sleek in the video games. This is more kind of akin to the Sumo Bros, at least, in a way. But I find that the sculpts are pretty good and pretty faithful. I'm not a fan of these types of Hammer Brothers, at least. They're at least too chunky for me, in a way. I'm just going to pick one, put the other aside, and then continue with this review. So, as far as this goes, it is a Hammer Bro. The articulation is it's basically the same as the Koopas, but you get less out of it all. It just doesn't really seem to be that great to me. The shell is even more, I think it's less restrictive, but it's just too chunky for me. It's really weird. You don't even get a full arm that's just relaxed. You get a bent arm all the time, for both arms at least. The legs are constantly bent for some reason. I think it's for stability issues for this guy. There's also a lot of scratching right here on that figure. The same stuff you got with the Koopa. It doesn't go out as far. Rotate here. There's a hinge there, down there. The shoes are bigger. They're pretty cool, I guess. But honestly, these kind of, pale in comparison to the Koopas. I like Hammer Bros as an enemy, and they're really fun to use in Mario Maker and stuff. But I just find that, I don't know, these guys are just not doing it for me. The paint's even really not that great on them. There's a big splotch over here, and on the vents on the helmet, it's kind of not really that great either. It's a step down for me. And also the hammers themselves, you can take them off. They look pretty nice. They're rubbery, which is interesting. And I just find that the paint could be way better on these straps, tying the hammer to the actual stick. It's kind of a letdown for me. Hammer Bros are really great enemies in general, but they're just not really that great in plastic. The faces are painted excellently, I gotta say that. The faces are pretty good paint. At least the eyes, which I think are printed on rather than actually hand painted, as most action figures I believe are, or painted by machine. Also, I never noticed they have a little strap down here, so that's pretty interesting. I'd rate them below Koopas and Goombas, honestly. But as enemies, they're really top tier. As action figures, they're not that great. So here we come to Bowser Jr. The reason I have 3 is because in my Mario Maker game, there's 3 of him you fight. So that's basically it. We're going to move one to the side and focus on the other 2, just for clarity. So here's the, I believe, older one. Here's the newer one. You can tell because of the head coloring. There's a little bit more red on the newer one, a little more olive green, and a little less red, and a little light green. It's a little more orangey than red, actually. And it's the same basically all around, I would believe. Maybe moving this out of the way would help matters more. Yeah, moving that over a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't set before the review, but hey, it's a little more compact over here, and it's a little more loose over here, the bandana, so that's interesting to me. The paint's pretty good on both of them. It's a little more defined on this, a little less defined on this. A little more fresh new marker, a little more faded, and a lot more sort of gaps between the scribbles on this one than that one. That's something of note. But there's a downside, as this one does have a lot of sort of flanging, as opposed to this one. It looks very clean. I'm not sure if I can swap those little gauntlets. I think I've tried, but it doesn't really work out that well. He has the little barcodes on his feet, which is great. He also has these little sort of stripes on his belly. They're better over here than here. As far as the face goes, the paint's pretty good on the tooth. Right there. That cute little Bowser Jr. smile. There is some problems with his horn right here. It's kind of a shame. So yeah, let's go over articulation of the newest one. Same as the old one, by the way. But yeah. Move over. Goes around on the head. This can move a little bit around if you want it to. It doesn't move with the head too much, so that's kind of fine. Goes all the way around, left and right. Doesn't really... Goes up and down a tiny bit. So that's good. Gives him a little expression. Does that work on the old one? Not as much. So they've improved the articulation on the new ones, which is very nice to see. Probably change the body too. Goes up on the arm, down, around all the way. Not really hindered by the shell, which is good. The shell is really nice, by the way. It's hard to get good paint on this as far as these figures go. There's some problems, I think, with one of them, but apparently they all look really good. So, props to them, I guess. There is an issue on here, right here. Maybe he fell over or something. I'm not really quite sure. But, yeah, arm goes around, up and down. Hand goes up and down to the hinge and the swivel. The leg goes out like a Koopaling foot, kind of. Goes out a little bit, in. Foot goes down and up, and it can swivel a little bit around. Not really that much, actually. It's hindered by the bottom of the foot. And the tail can move up and down, and it can twist a little bit. But why would you want it to? It doesn't really work that way. So yeah, Bowser Jr. is great. Nice little figure. He works well in a small pack of Bowser Jr.'s. But for now, I'm probably just going to keep this one in my collection. So here we have Bowser, King of the Koopas. And he's really awesome. One of my favorite figures in the whole line. He looks great. He has a V1 and a V2, as seen here. They both look really cool. So let's go over the old one really quick. As far as paint goes, the paint looks really nice. There are some problems with the shell. There is an issue over here on the arm. I'm not sure if this is marker or something. There are a lot of dents on this sort of collar piece right here, as well as the actual collar has some issues as well. The toes are very poorly painted, and the shell is just a mess, and it's horrible. I got this pre-owned years ago, and there's also the spikes on the tail. There's an issue on that one. Got this pre-owned years ago. The articulation's pretty solid as far as he goes. It's really sturdy, which is very nice. We also have that little barcode on the tail right there. Those numbers and everything. The face paint is pretty good. The hair is a little sort of brighter orange, and the skin is a little bit sort of brighter green at least. Also, the shell is a little brighter green than the other one. And as far as that, we're going to go... It looks nice. We're going to go over the articulation of the other Bowser right now. So this Bowser is the sort of V2, I believe. It's more recent than the other one. I like him actually way better, though. He looks really good. You're looking over a little bit to the right-hand side. But as far as this guy goes, he's awesome. There's a couple of scrapes on his tummy right here. That's a shame because he was packaged with zip ties instead of the usual rubber banded material, which is really interesting to me. But those little spikes on here are great. They look really good, except for this one. I'm not sure what happened to it. Maybe he fell in my collection. But they were all perfect as far as I knew a while ago. That's strange. I'm noticing a lot of marks on this guy that I didn't under different lighting conditions. Oh boy. Maybe I picked the wrong Bowser or something. Yeah, this is the one from my shelf. Weird. I have like 2 other ones. So, yeah. The shell looks pretty nice. A couple scrapes over here. A few dings, maybe. But he looked the best out of the 3 that I have. So, let's just go over him real quick. Articulation goes as follows. His head doesn't really move at all. He can move back and forth a tiny bit, up and down, but I'm not sure if I broke it or not, which is kind of weird. This can move around all the way 360. Can't really move out to grab anything or something. You could probably play basketball if you wanted him to. Goes out a little bit on the arm. It's kind of robotic looking, though. It's kind of weird. Maybe this is the one the Koopa Bros commandeered. The hand goes up and down, just a very slight amount, though. Kind of not really doesn't do that much. You could probably hold a bomb or something. The legs also go around and over like that and swivel. It is I believe it's sort of a hinge joint in there. You can't really see it that well, but it's in there. It's a hinge joint. It's interesting. This one's a little looser than the other one. It's kind of weird to me. But overall, I basically sort of had to gamble with this guy and get a bunch of them and finally find one without spike issues. Maybe a few, but not as many as the other ones. Sure, his leg is a little bit looser, but this guy is the cream of the crop. Looks great in any shot. Looks really nice in any pose. His shell is really intimidating and cool. His tail looks really nice. I like the sculpting on that. There is articulation. It swivels a little bit, so that's pretty neat. Overall, I'd recommend Bowser highly. You can get him with Mario and a Bob-omb for, I don't know, $20 or so, I guess. Yeah, it's really nice and super cool. He's well worth your time and purchase. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Heck Creative. Feel free to click like, subscribe, share, or leave a comment. You can also visit us at jesseheckcreative.com, where you'll find more reviews like this one. Thanks again for watching and keep being creative. Stay tuned!